Hey, what's up guys, it's HoodManiac360 and welcome back to StarWarsThon, the series where I review every Star Wars film until The Rise of Skywalker. And today I'm going to be reviewing the second chapter in the sequel trilogy, The Last Jedi. But if you've seen my first Star Wars ranking video, you'll know that I'm not very fond of this movie, so this is going to be a challenge. Let's get this over with. So the film starts off with the First Order attacking the Resistance with a crater full of bombs, and Poe leads a team to destroy it. They succeed, but at the cost of people dying, and Leia demotes him for that. Now, I kinda expected the film to open with something like this, but what Poe did was a good thing. Sure, people were killed, but if he didn't do anything, then possibly everyone could have been killed. Anyways, Finn wakes up after being slashed in the back by a lightsaber and asks where Rey is. Then we cut back to the island where Rey gives Luke the lightsaber and tells him that Han is dead and Leia needs his help to fight the First Order. Luke, for some weird reason, just throws away the lightsaber and tells Rey he came to the planet specifically to die, then walks away. Okay, this scene is just stupid because in The Force Awakens, Luke made a map that led to his whereabouts in case they needed him. And now that they need him, what does Luke do? He walks away. But that's not the only thing wrong here. But we'll get to that real soon. Luke then finds the Millennium Falcon and reunites with R2-D2 and tells him that he can't come back. So R2 plays the Help Me Obi-Wan Kenobi clip from A New Hope. And that changes Luke's mind and tells Rey that he'll teach her the next day. Then we cut to the Resistance where it looks like Kylo Ren is going to shoot the ship Leia is on. But he doesn't, because I'm assuming there might still be some good in him. But either way, the ship she's on gets blown up by TIE fighters. And I kid you not, Leia is not only still alive, but she reaches her hand out, opens her eyes, and starts flying like she's fucking Superman, and returns to the Resistance ship. That scene was just retarded. Instead of admiring her new abilities to use the Force in an unexpected way, it had me going, Anyways, Leia is in the hospital on the ship and Admiral Akbar is dead. It really was a trap. So they get someone else to lead. Her name is Vice Admiral Haldo, and she is literally a purple-haired feminist bitch who's only there to make Poe look like an idiot. What happens is Poe politely asks her what her plan is and she refuses to tell him. Now, when I first saw that, I was kind of expecting something cool like Haldo would turn out to be a spy for the First Order. Now that would have subverted my expectations in a good way. Because the problem with this film is that the director Rian Johnson wanted to subvert our expectations too much, instead of telling a good story. I feel like the only reason she was written was to add an SJW message to Star Wars, and it feels very out of place. But it gets worse. Meanwhile, with Luke and Rey, Luke, believe it or not, only teaches her one thing, which isn't even that useful. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that there was this whole subplot where Rey and Kylo Ren's minds would link, and they could talk to each other through the Force, and he tells her that the reason why he went to the dark side was that Luke tried to kill him. By the way, Kylo Ren was telepathically there, so Luke saw him and got mad at Rey and then grabbed sticks and they fight. But then Rey pins Luke and tells her the reason why he tried to kill Kylo Ren was because he sensed the dark side in him, and thought if he kills him in his sleep then there would be nothing to fear. But then senses light in him. But then he woke Kylo Ren up and he saw him and immediately turned to the dark side. But in Return of the Jedi, Luke didn't want to kill Darth Vader because he thought there was still good in him, and what do you know, he was right. But with his nephew, why? It's also never explained how Kylo Ren even met Snoke, but Rey believes that there's still good in him, so she leaves the island. Luke then is about to burn the sacred Jedi text. Then we get the only great scene in this film. Yoda's ghost shows up and destroys the Jedi text and tells Luke that it's time for the Jedi to start fresh. Meanwhile, with the Resistance, Poe does not think they will survive with Vice Admiral Haldo in charge, so he tells Finn and a new character, Rose, to go find a codebreaker on a planet called Candlebite at a casino, so that he can help them. But the problems with this scene is, 1. It drags on. 2. They get arrested because of an illegal parking ticket. 3. They forget to get the codebreaker. And 4. They find a different codebreaker, and when they go to the First Order ship, they get caught and the codebreaker turns on them. Meanwhile with Rey, she goes to the First Order base and meets Kylo Ren again, and brings her to Snoke, and he tells Kylo Ren to kill Rey, but he put her lightsaber on the table next to the chair he's sitting in, and Kylo Ren uses the Force to slightly turn it, and then he uses the Force to turn it on, and it kills Snoke. When that happened, I had my jaw dropped and said to myself, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So let me get this straight. In The Force Awakens, they set up a villain who's probably just as powerful as the Emperor, and without any explanation on who he is, they just kill him like he's nothing. That's just a slap in the face to fans of The Force Awakens. Anyways, Rey and Kylo Ren team up to kill the Red Guards, and Kylo Ren tells Rey that her parents are nobodies. But in The Force Awakens, they set her up to be related to someone. I even thought she was related to Luke or Obi-Wan or even the Emperor, but nope, she's nothing. Then Kylo Ren tries to bring her to the dark side, but then she takes Luke's lightsaber and they end up fighting over it. Meanwhile, with Poe, he finds out that Vice Admiral Holdo is planning on abandoning ship and leaving the Resistance to die. So Poe starts a mutiny and takes matters into his own hands. But then Leia wakes up and stuns Poe. Turns out Holdo's real plan was to move to a different planet where there's extra supplies. Now, remember what I said about the SJW moment coming up? Well, this is it. Instead of Holdo just telling Poe her plan, they decide not to and to make Poe cause a mutiny and make him look like an idiot because they didn't want a man to lead. If anything, it just drags out the plot. But they do kill her off by having her sacrifice herself by splitting the First Order base in half. When this happens, Rey escapes and Finn and Rose kill Captain Phasma, who is just as useless in The Last Jedi as she was in The Force Awakens. When the Resistance gets to the planet, Finn and Rose eventually make it, but the First Order shows up with a giant cannon. And Finn decides to sacrifice himself to destroy it, which, to be honest, would have been a great moment. But it's ruined when Rose stops him and says, and I quote, "It's not about fighting what we hate, it's about saving the ones we love." That's what Finn was doing. He was going to sacrifice himself to save the Resistance. Then she kisses him for like half a second, then passes out. Her character is just really fucking painful and cringy to watch. Not trashing the actress, but the director for writing her character. Then Luke shows up and fights Kylo Ren, if you would even call it that. No, seriously, it's just a few swings with the lightsabers, and that's it. Then Kylo Ren cuts Luke in half, but it doesn't kill him. Instead, he's still on the island and uses a force projection. But the worst part of the film is Luke dies. How the hell did he die? What, was he just tired and just killed himself? It's just retarded. It's like something you see in a fan fiction. Rey then arrives aboard the Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca and R2-D2, and they get all the Resistance fighters on board, and that's the end. I just don't know what to say. Star Wars has always been a huge part of my life, and this just destroys it in only 2.5 hours. God, I hope they're still good in Star Wars.